Hey everyone, I'm joined by Cloud9 top laner Darshan to break down everything that's happened here at MSI. This is after the first Rumble stage. It's a tough day for C9, so let's start there. Matches were close in the first one. The second one, things blew up pretty quickly. How's the team feeling after these two matches?
Yeah, I actually missed the team talk after the second game for this interview, but I think the first game, I honestly thought we really could have came back and won that one. I think our comp was actually pretty good. It wasn't the best in terms of early game, but I think we definitely had a good team fight comp. Unfortunately, we weren't able to pull it out. And then the second game, after that crab fight, the game is just completely blown out of proportion. I personally don't think we had the best draft the second game. And I think that it sucks that the game, after one fight, the game is kind of really hard to play out. But I think that was just kind of the nature of the second game. It just snowballed out of control. So I think the first game, I mean, a lot to take away from both games, but I think the second game was just over after 3 minutes. In the first game, I think there was a lot of good fighting moments that we showed. I think Fudge had a lot of great team fights.
Yeah, and you said there in the second game, the draft wasn't the greatest. I kind of wanted to get what your read of the meta is right now, given the fact that we have two very powerful AP junglers. It feels like it opens up to the solo lanes to play anything that they want, knowing that Morgana and Rumble are available.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of strong junglers in this meta. I think the problem is a lot of the Rumbles you see, they often don't end up playing the team fights that well or using their ultimate that well. But I do still think that regardless, the champions are strong. And I think you can go a lot of different styles, right? You even see some teams picking up the Udyr, first picking the Udyr, some teams first pick the Morgana, some teams first pick the Rumble. It really just depends on what type of comps you want to build, what your priorities are as a team.
Now, given the fact that you're substituting, you're sitting behind Fudge, who's one of a revelation as a rookie here in his first full-time split as a starter, what are some of the things that you're picking up on that he does great, and what are some of the ways that you've been able to translate some of your experience to him and his growth?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I think that Fudge has a lot of great qualities as someone who can be a great player, and I think why I say that is I think when you say the word like growth mindset, right? I think he kind of really embodies that in a lot of ways. I think he's someone who's really eager and open to learning. I think he's not afraid to try new things. He's not afraid to make mistakes and learn. And I think that he's willing to take feedback from anyone, no matter what it is. And I think it's great qualities to like not really have an ego and not really like, I guess just be open to listening and learning from anyone. So I think it's been great to work with him. And I think that's the biggest quality I see in him. I think what he can work on is I think he's actually really smart about the game too, even though he's a rookie. I think the biggest thing he can improve on is kind of growing into more of that voice. And I think being more confident with his calls and the things that he's saying. I think I'm already seeing him do that more in this MSI, but I think a lot of times I think he has a good idea about what should happen in the game. And I think the more that he can share that with the team, the more that he can have an impact and the more the team can grow.
We spoke about his growth mindset. I kind of want to get what your growth mindset is here. How are you growing here at MSI and at this portion of your career?
Yeah, something I've been thinking about recently is just how beautiful like the game League of Legends is, how beautiful esports is. And I think that, I've been doing this for 8, almost 9 years. It's been a really long time. And I still love playing the game. I still love watching the game. And I think I definitely still I still see it as a craft. I still see it as a sport that I want to grow in. But I think that ultimately over the years, it's kind of evolved into me really deeply understanding myself more. Because I think that anytime you go into any craft or any sport or even something you're just deeply passionate about, you're able to learn a lot about yourself and your strengths and your weaknesses and really learn about what's important to you in life. And I think that even though I've been playing for so long, I get so much passion out of like learning from the game, watching the game, and I still love playing it just as much. So I don't really know how much longer I'm going to be playing or what exactly I'm going to be doing. I'm just kind of taking it day by day. And I'm really grateful that I got this opportunity to come along with Cloud9 and not only help, but also just learn from what the best teams in the world are doing, learn what Cloud9 is doing and learn what, how they kind of come together as a team. And so I think it's been an awesome opportunity, and I'm really grateful that I'm still able to be a part of League of Legends and League of Legends esports.
That is beautiful, man. Like I was trying to figure out what my next question was, but I'm just feeling that with you as well as a massive reminder to why we do this, why it's been so great to follow along with your story throughout the longevity of your career. And I'd be remiss if I didn't bring up, how does this MSI evoke emotions from your run over with CLG in 2016 during your MSI run?
It definitely evokes a lot of emotions and memories. I think competing internationally is always like so much fun. I think it's hard to describe. I think there's this book called Flow by Mihai Csikszentmihalyi. I'm sure I butchered that pronunciation, but essentially it's kind of like getting into this like deep state of like concentration and focus. And I think that when you're able to play on stage, and especially on stage internationally, you really get into this deep state of like flow and focus. And I think that being able to just be part of the environment really reminds me of that, and reminds me of some of the great games we had. So I think that, yeah, I think international competitions are great. And I love how the community and everyone just gets excited and hyped about every single match. You can definitely just feel that energy.
Darshan, what is the one single thing that Cloud9 needs to do? The biggest thing. How about the biggest thing that Cloud9 needs to do to clean up their act with 4 more days left, 8 matches left in the Rumble stage to move on to the knockout bracket?
So honestly, I think that a lot of times, I know NA hasn't had good results, but if I had to boil it down to one thing, I don't necessarily think that the way we're getting outplayed is that the opponents are so much better. I think that we're kind of, a lot of the times based in the previous years, whether it was Doublelift or whoever it was that came, we were like often like one game from getting out of groups or one game from moving on, right? And I think that the easiest change we can make is like just go out like you have nothing to lose, right? Like play that game like there's no concerns or worries on your mind, right? You're just playing the game the best that you can. And I'm saying it like it's simple. Like in essence, it's simple, but in reality, right? Being able to take all that stress, all that pressure off of it and just be able to play the best game that you can. I think that if we're able to do that, we could definitely make it out of the groups. I've seen all of these players, right? I think a lot of the players at Cloud9 have a lot of talent. And I think that we could definitely make it out of this group stage. So I don't necessarily think it's like a big shift in terms of we need to change all of these things about our picks or we have to get so much better, so much faster. No, I think it's making it simple, right? Like making sure we like look at our opponents, but remember what our strengths are, right? Play to our strengths, play what we do best, and not need to take any big risks to win the game, right? I think we can just play a normal game and we can take down any team, right? I think any team, RNG hasn't lost yet, right? But I do think that through the group stages, they will also take a loss. And I really do think that any team is beatable at this tournament. So even though Cloud9 hasn't had the best showing so far in the first day, I do think that Cloud9, just as almost any other team in the group, has a chance to win the tournament. So I really do think that we have a lot more to show and they have a lot more to show. And I'm excited to see what they can do. I have a lot of faith in them.
There it is. Faith at the end. How fitting, Darshan. It's always a pleasure to talk to you, brother. Congratulations on everything so far. And I wish nothing but the best of luck to you and Cloud9 for the rest of MSI.
Thank you, Digon. Always a pleasure with you as well.